Hey everyone, this is Mavi and I'm here with G. Welcome G, how you doing?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Good. So now today guys, we're just gonna be covering one of the most asked question that is like, what are those most important things that you should be looking before you buy any pre-construction project anywhere in Canada? So it really comes to the point like it's your intention.
I bang on.
Right?
Yeah. Intention is the number one driver.
Yes.
Of what your pre-construction purchase will be about.
Yeah. What do I mean by intention? Means like either you are an end user or you are an investor.
Yeah.
So ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ pre-construction project ਹੈ, either ਤੁਸੀਂ town house buy ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ or ਤੁਸੀਂ buy ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ detached, right? ਉਹਦੇ purpose buy ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਦੋ ਹੀ ਹੋਣਗੇ, ਜਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਰਹਿਣ ਲਈ ਲੈਣਾ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਸੈਲ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਐਜ਼ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟ ਲੈ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੀਆਂ ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕੁਝ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਕੀ ਪੁਆਇੰਟਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮੋਸਟ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਰੋਲ ਪਲੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਏ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਹੈ ਨਾ? ਸੋ we are going to cover all of those.
It's very different if you plan to move into that property versus you plan to invest for rental purposes or capital gains, whatever that is.
Yeah.
The one thing I think all of them will agree on, location obviously trumps everything.
Yes, and let's do this, G. Like we're gonna start with the end user first.
Sure.
ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਘਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਰਹਿਣ ਲਈ buy ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੀਆਂ ਕਿਹੜੇ key points or what are the things that you need to know before you purchase it. So first, as G just told, like location is the key. So you gotta know ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ project ਬਣਨਾ ਆ, so where you buying it, where it's located, ਆਪਣਾ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਆਓ. So it's really important because you gotta know like ਕਿਹੜੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਕੋਲੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਸ਼ਾਪਿੰਗ ਮਾਲਸ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਦੂਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਡੇ ਟੂ ਡੇ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਆ, ਉਹਦਾ ਟਰੈਵਲ ਟਾਈਮ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਸ ਲੋਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੋਂ, ਰਾਈਟ?
Yeah. So Mavi's just highlighting the amenities, the neighborhood amenities, planned growth for that location. Do they already have a shopping mall? Do they already have grocery stores?
Yeah.
Do they already have schools? Are they good schools?
Yeah.
Right? So that's going to matter to the end user.
Yeah.
I think number two, once you know what location you want, you need to find an agent that has access and allocation.
Allocations, yes.
Because allocation is the key in today's market.
Yeah.
A lot of agents are out there claiming their VIP Platinum access, and all they're doing is submitting a worksheet for you.
Yeah.
They don't actually have a relationship with that builder, and they can't really get you that property.
Yes,
and
that's
right.
right.
Something you really want to question the agent about.
Yeah, you know? And the next point I really want to bring is the size. If you are the end user, you really gotta know like what size you are buying. Like, you know, it really plays a big factor because when you're gonna sell down the road, maybe it's 5 years down or 10 years down, it's up to you guys, right?
Yeah.
But really plays a big role when you try to sell the house. So what kind of size you buy now? So and I really want to bring this point, G, because I have seen in the past people make a little bit of mistake because they don't know. They don't know what they don't know, right?
Yeah.
And people actually kind of pick like, oh, I want to buy detached over townhouse. So what they do, they buy smaller detached house because they can't afford the big one. So let's say they buy 1,800 square feet single car garage and a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, whatever. Yeah. But if you see that detached house like that is 1,800 square feet, it's really congested.
Yeah.
Right? It really doesn't feel. Because it's better if you guys wanna like 18 or 1,900 square feet, just buy townhouse. Buy townhouse the same size, 18 or 1,900 square feet. That would have been a better investment, right? And I would say like it's easy to sell a bigger townhouse as compared to smaller detached.
I agree with you, Mavi. I think my advice generally is buy the biggest house within your budget.
Yeah.
Or biggest condo within your budget, whatever the case is. Your right size matters.
Yeah.
Layout matters.
Yeah.
A good floor plan trumps size in some cases.
Yeah.
And obviously, guys, there is a correlation. The bigger you are, the better the layout.
Yeah.
The better the location.
Yeah.
The more you're going to pay.
Yeah. The more you're going to pay. Even sometimes I have seen G, like usually people buy like it doesn't matter like number of rooms. Don't try to fill like too many rooms in the same house.
Yeah.
Like if your house is 2,100 square feet, don't try to push 4 bedrooms into the smaller house, because then it's really gonna be like congested.
Yeah.
And then when you try to sell that point, I seen the one house, it was a 2100 square feet house, and then they bought you know, because apne di thodi mentality idda hundi hai ki room zyada hone chahiye, right? So they put like 4 bedroom and 3 bath upstairs in 2100 square feet house.
That just sounds crowded to me.
Yeah, so. It's like you can really put like queen size bed in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, guys, ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਚੰਗਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ 3 bedroom ਲੈਂਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ 2 washroom ਲੈਂਦੇ, at least space ਤਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਇੱਥੇ.
Yeah.
You know, don't try to put like too many rooms and washrooms upstairs. Just try to like, because you know number matters.
Yeah.
So
along with that, guys, once you know the type of property you want, what's really important with a project is the deposit structure.
Yes.
Right? That means project can take for homes anywhere from a year to 2 years.
Yeah.
For condos, we're looking at 4 to 5 years constructions. But the deposit can be spread out over that time frame as well. So how much you need to put down in the first month, and then you'll know, okay, 2 months from now I need to put down another 5%, another 5, whatever it is. So you have to be really aware, does that fit within your budget and your constraints? And that, again, how far out is the project, the timeline, right? So if you are a young family, you can't wait 5 years for a house to be built. But if you're an investor, maybe you wait, and we'll get into that a little bit later. And
then it was a really good point, G. And the next one, I really want to get into development charges.
That's a big one.
And make sure they are capped. So what do I mean by development charges? I think G is going to explain it better.
Development charges, guys, a lot of cities, municipalities will charge the builders to build the roads, access to the sewer, that kind of thing. Obviously, we're creating more congestion wherever we're building. Density, I don't want to say congestion, that sounds like a bad word, but more density within the community. And the city has to shift and pivot to absorb that increased density. And so those charges are charged to the builder, but they're typically passed along to the end, to the buyer. And so you want an agent who can recognize those charges, because they rename them different things depending on which agreement you're looking at, and has the clout to either get them capped if they're not capped, or you know, just clean up the language, because they've got a relationship with that builder to make sure that you're not being nickel and dimed as a buyer for every little thing. Right.
And the next point, I think G did a really good job of explaining that. And then next point I really want to touch down is your decor and upgrades, guys. So sometimes if you get those upgrades, sometimes it's better to get upgrades from the builder, and sometimes it's not, because sometimes they overcharge you. They overcharge you for the same thing. So how are you gonna figure it out? I think it's most important, like if you really digging deep down into buying your new house, you gotta search a little bit, and you gotta find out how much it costs, what are the average upgrades you get into in a pre-construction project. And if you really want to get it done from the outside, somebody like contractor or something, and how much they are charging, so you really want to know the difference.
You do. And the other thing people don't think about is sometimes it's worth paying the builder the little bit extra, because people don't know this. For example, if you buy a brand new house, I can't just go and build the basement 2 weeks after I move in if I want to finish the basement, because of the carry-on warranty. There's certain things I can't do for a first year, or I might void the warranty on my home. So this is a really good point, guys. So when you buy pre-construction, usually you get like 5 years of carry-on warranty. Like if you change any single thing into the house, there's chance, depending on what you're doing.
What are you doing?
It might be better to pay that builder to finish the basement for you, because then the whole house is warranted. Versus doing it yourself, you're saving a couple of $1,000s, but then your warranty goes out. And what happens if, I don't know, the foundation fails? Or, these are rare extremes, but if something happens, then you're SOL. So you really want to look into and occupancy. You already touched on the occupancy, right? No. So guys, with pre-construction, there's actually 2 closings. There's two closing dates. The first one is called occupancy date, which is I call it like you're renting. The house is ready to move in, but they haven't transferred the title of the property. The builder still technically owns the home. And once the property is registered, that's when the title, if I'm the builder, okay, I've built these 500 homes in this community, and I've cut the pie, so to speak, and now I'm giving Mavi his pie, which is his home that he bought, and now that he is the owner of that property. So that's registration. That's the final closing. That's when your mortgage actually starts. Right? So for an end user, very important. What are the projections for that occupancy and that registration dates? If you have a good qualified builder, they're going to be tight, which is great. If you don't know the builder so well, I know properties, condos in downtown Toronto that were 2 years occupancy.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy. That means people had to move in, take possession, and pay that occupancy fee for 2 years. They weren't even paying in their mortgage yet. They weren't paying anything for themselves. They weren't building equity.
And for the end users, I really wanna mention that before you sign all the contracts and stuff, like get it reviewed from the lawyer. They might charge like a few $100s, but it's worth it, because sometimes you don't understand the language in their contract, right?
You won't, and it's a very good point, Mavi. What I really want to stress, guys, is when you're buying a condo, you have a 10-day cooling off period. That's the law. So you do have time to do your due diligence with your lawyer. If you're buying a condominium. If you're buying a freehold property, like a house, townhouse, semi-detached, you don't have that option. Some builders will give it to you. Generally, when you're signing in that sales office, you're firm. And so you really, again, it goes back to the agent. Does the agent know what they're talking about with pre-construction? Do they have access to that agreement of purchase and sale before? Because a good agent will take that to the lawyer and say, is there anything in here that we should be worried about? And they've done the due diligence for the client before they even bring them into the sales office.
Or I would say just highlight those key points that you really want to have in that contract, and make sure you see that part in writing in the contract. Right? Like just the key point, not even the whole part, but like just the key points that really matters, and that could really change the whole scenario. And now we're gonna discuss.
So yeah, guys, that was a highlight for if you're planning to move into the property yourself.
For end user, now we're gonna discuss a few points that you really need to know as an investor.
And just to highlight, Mavi, if you don't mind, there's a few things, guys, that are similar across the board. Again, so choosing the right agent who's got access and allocation, we don't need to get into that. Making sure you've spoken to a lender or your bank for the mortgage pre-approval, so you know what your purchasing power is. Obviously the planned growth in the area, what phase are you buying, location. These are they're universal regardless of whether you're moving in or investor. For an end user, we're looking at schools, obviously amenities in terms of grocery, transit, that thing. For an investor, yes, grocery stores, easy access, transit is important. The other thing is there enough people there to rent that property?
So there are 2 points. Either you're going to close on the property, or you want to sell on assignment. We're really going to get into the assignment. But like let's say who's going to buy the property, are like the way you have making that investment, are there enough jobs for people to move in? So because people only gonna buy if they have jobs in the community, or like close to the community, or like into 20-minute, 30-minute radius. So it's a key point for me. Like that's how I feel. Like you really want to pick the location where in future there are going to be more jobs, and more companies going to move into that location. It's really going to create more jobs in the area, right?
Actually, just to piggyback off that point, Mavi, we had access to projects in Calgary. And I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of agents are out there pushing Calgary because of the price point. It's fantastic. But our contact in Calgary actually told us, we were looking at one project, hey, we've got a bunch of investors that want this property, these properties. And they pulled back, they said no. And their number one reason was there's not enough renters in that neighborhood to support the investors who would be purchasing that property. And so, again, it's very important you work with educated agents that are going to represent you, but also educated sales staff in the developer's sales center who are also going to be knowledgeable and truthful with you on what's going to happen.
And so we touched on the jobs, and then really the next is assignment. So when you're making the investment, so you really want to have the assignment clause in the contract. So what do I mean by assignment clause? So G is going to explain it better.
Yeah, assignment, guys, is I'm the builder, Mavi's the buyer. He buys a pre-construction townhouse from me. He has the assignment clause because he was smart and his agent negotiated that for him. And what he can do is, in the 2 years between the shovel going into the ground and the townhouse being ready, Mavi's made $200,000 in capital gains. The price of the townhouse has gone up. In that time frame, Mavi got married, he had a young kid, and he now needs more space. His parents are coming over to help move in with him. He can't have a 3-bedroom house. He needs a 4-bedroom house. He looks around and he says, hey, I made some good money on this investment so far. I need a bigger place. Let me assign it. I'm going to sell this contract to someone else who's going to take advantage of this townhouse. And that's basically what you're doing, is you're selling the contract that you had to a new buyer who's going to end up closing.
Before moving into that townhouse, or before taking the mortgage on your name. Right, so you just sell that piece of paper to somebody else. So basically you just take those capital gains, sell the contract, and you get your down payment, whatever the deposit you made already, and then you get the the capital gains, and you just walk out the contract.
We're simplifying it, guys. It's a little bit more complicated. You obviously want to talk to your accountant. You want to again look at your full picture. Is this the right move for you? Taxes obviously will kind of creep in there as well. So situation is different, sir.
Situation is different all the time, but like this is just kind of general. Just to, if you want to have that information with you. So obviously you can dig deep into it and then find a little bit more about the whole scenario. But like the assignment clause is the clause in the agreement that allows you to sell that contract. If you don't have that clause in that contract, you cannot sell that contract, and you have to close on that property, right? And then builder has choice. I heard like there was one of my clients. They thought they had a assignment clause in it, but like when I reviewed the contract, I didn't see any clause. I was like, guys, and then builder put them in a situation where they can take their deposit and walk out. And then builder is going to take the property and then sell
for a much higher price.
Or they close the property. So at that point, you're really on a pinpoint.
I would say 99% of the time you want to close on that property.
So you really want to close on that property. So really, but you don't want to really get into the situation. So what's the next point if you...
So we touched on this with end users. I'm going to combine two of them. Floor plans and layout, and then the decor upgrades. Because, as an end user, I'm going to use a condo as an example. I wouldn't advise my client to buy a unit beside the elevator or the garbage chute in a building, because it's going to be a little bit noisier. As an investor, I'm going to save a little bit of money because those units are a little bit cheaper. And then in terms of the upgrades you're going for, you want to be something that's not super trendy, that looks nice, but number one really is durable. You don't want carpets throughout the unit or the house. If you're an investor,
I've seen an investors putting a carpet like just after the door. I was like, why would you put a carpet? Where are you going to take off your shoes?
So you want to have durable materials, laminate, vinyl floors, that kind of thing. Stuff that's going to stand up the wear and tear of the tenants. And here's the flip side. Normally, if you're moving into the property, we say, don't buy a small 4-bedroom house, like you said, Mavi, right? But as an investor, if I'm renting it out, so there's two assumptions. I'm not going to assign it. I'm going to actually close on it. I'm planning to rent it out. the more bedrooms I have, the more money I'm going to get.
That's right. That's right.
So it's a little bit different.
It's really, but it depends if you want to sell the contract or you want to close the property and then put it on rent. So obviously, we can really dig deep more into it. Like if you need like more information on that, and then I really want to touch on the point. You really want to see yourself before making the invest, like who's going to buy the property, who you going to sell the property. You really have to have that scenario in mind so you can have wider pool of buyers. You know, you really don't want to have a cut down, okay, this buyer cannot buy this property, this person cannot buy this property. You really want to do, so you really want to have the wider spectrum. So you have like more number of buyers who wants to buy that property. It's only going to happen if you start thinking before making the move, before buying the contract, before buying the investment, right?
Excellent.
Because you really can't do anything afterwards, right?
Yeah, no, that's a absolutely excellent point. Really, again, it goes back to intent. With investors, there's two. Is your intent to buy and hold in the long term as part of your portfolio, or is your intent to invest now, hoping to assign it before you're closing? And that's going to dictate. Am I buying decor upgrades to appeal to 90% of potential buyers?
Yes.
Or am I going to buy and hold? So I need durable materials that still look good. But that, you know, they're more geared towards the renter.
And I have one story. Like one of my friend actually, I didn't know before, but they bought a condo. They didn't take the parking. So now they're in a situation because they bought the condo because it's cheap. But like you know, who cares about the parking? We're just gonna sell that. We just rent it out. But now it's a point like when the condo is ready after a few years, they don't have the parking. And now they cannot sell that condo to anyone because nobody is going to buy that condo without parking, because where they're going to park. And it's so hard. They cannot sell. They cannot find a tenant because where tenant is going to park the car, right? And now this guy is trying to find a parking spot like 5-6 minutes away and pay like $150 for the parking spot.
Which is not the best thing.
Which is not the best thing. So these are the points like I really want to mention, like these are the points that you really need to know before making the investment. But it's just a small thing. Okay, you know, parking is costing you like $30,000 at that time or $50,000 whatsoever. Now you didn't take the parking at that time, but now you can sell the contract or you cannot find a tenant for the property, right? So you really want to avoid those things.
Guys, the magic word, intent. The parking example is a great one. You got to remember when you're sitting down, you're making this purchase. Let's say it is $50,000 for parking. You're technically not paying 50. You're paying 20% of 50. You're paying $10,000 extra to get that parking spot. To add value to that property. Right. So you're going to get that back. Whenever you decide to sell, whether it's an assignment, whether it's you lived in it, whether it's 5 years from now. That is a huge asset. If you're downtown Toronto, our transit's okay. I'm not going to say it's the best, but it's better than if you had transit in Mississauga or Milton or Brantford, for example. You can get away with a parking spot, again, depending on exactly where it is, location. Excuse me. But if you don't, but in Milton, in Brantford, those are not cities that are transient. They're not built around the transit infrastructure. Those cities need to have parking with the property. Oh yeah, occupancy and registration. It's similar, guys. Here, you know, occupancy, like I said, it's kind of like rent. Usually it's a combination of the interest the builder is paying on their construction loans, plus the property taxes, and or estimate of property taxes, and if it's a condo, the estimate of the condo fee. That's what makes up your occupancy fee. That's typically, in most cases, lower than what would be your mortgage payment plus everything else. Okay. If you're an investor, you plan to buy and hold for a while, you don't mind the occupancy fee. Because you can get a good tenant in. You'll be cash flow positive for that time frame. And then once you're finally registered, hopefully you're still cash flow positive. But you know, you're making a lot more money month to month until it's registered. On the flip side, that time frame also gives you time to assign that property,
Yes.
right? So,
So I think we covered most of the points that really make the difference. But you know, when you just looking to buy, but if we kind of missed any point, guys, please do a favor, leave in a comment below, so
Yep.
we actually know we're gonna go through all the comments. And thank you so much, guys, for watching. And
thank you guys, appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
all right, guys, thank you so much. Take care.